What's good, YouTube? This is ZEESTAYLOW. Welcome back to the series. If you grew up in America, you've heard the word white before your whole life, but nobody ever actually explained what that means. Because when you slow it down, the Irish aren't English, the English aren't Italian, and Italians aren't Polish. They have different languages, different histories, and different cultures. So why do people treat them like one? Today, we're going to break down the idea of white people and where it actually came from and why America turned it into one category and why the confusion was never accidental. To start off, segment 1, white is not an ethnicity. This is the key point. Everything else builds on this. White is not an ethnicity. No ancient group called themselves white. Not Romans, not Vikings, not the Celts, not the Germans. These people identify by tribe, nation, language, or clan. White is a modern social label mainly shaped in colonial America. Why? Because European settlers needed unity, political power, and a clear line separating themselves from African and indigenous peoples. So dozens of rival European groups who historically hated each other were collapsed into one category. Before America, there was no white unity. Now, segment 2. Let's start with the Celts. These include the Irish, Scottish, especially Highlanders, the Welsh, and Cornish. They lived in Ireland, Western Britain, and parts of France. They were clan-based, tribal, viewed as uncivilized by Rome and later England. Here's the part most Americans never hear. Irish people were not automatically considered white in early America. They were compared to Africans in political cartoons, treated as expendable labor, seen as culturally inferior. Whiteness didn't include them at first. It expanded later. Now, segment 3, Germanic peoples. Germanic peoples include English, Germans, Dutch, and the Scandinavians. The English themselves came from Angles, Saxons, and Jutes. This group took control of Britain, built massive empires, and colonized North America. This is who America centered the white image around. So when people picture white Americans, they're usually talking about Germanic heritage, not all of Europe. Now, segment 4, Roman/Latin peoples. Now, let's talk about Romance or Latin peoples, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, or Southern French. They descended from Roman provinces. They spoke Latin-based languages, had Mediterranean features, were often viewed as racially different from Northern Europeans. In early American, Italians and Southern Europeans were often seen as not fully white. They faced segregation, violence, and legal discrimination. Again, whiteness wasn't fixed. It was negotiated. Segment 5, the Slavic people. Now we've got the Slavic people, the Polish, Russian, Ukrainian, and Balkan groups. Dark historical fact. The word slave comes from Slav because Slavic people were frequently enslaved in medieval Europe. In America, Slavs were seen as foreign, poor, and outside the white mainstream. Later, they were absorbed too. Same pattern, different group. Now, segment 6. Why did America make them all white? America merged all these groups into one category simply because power, numbers, and control. A divided Europe couldn't rule effectively. A unified white identity could. Whiteness became a membership card. Over time, Irish became white, Italians became white, Slavs became white, not because history changed, but because politics did. So here's the closing truth. If this feels confusing, that's normal. Europe was never one people. America made it look that way. Race isn't ancient, it's organized. This is ZEESTAYLOW, and this is why history hits different when you look past the myths. Peace.